Hey, what's up everybody? This is Nightwing2303 from kicksoncourt.com. Today we have another performance review and it is on the upcoming retro of the Zoom Flight 98, also known as the Glove. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get right into it. So here's just a quick look at the bottom. As you can see, there is no herringbone. This was a pattern that was designed back in 1998 and from a front to back standpoint worked perfectly fine on any court condition and any surface, whether it was indoor or outdoor. However, lateral movements, pushing off this way, crossovers, things like that, you're going in the same direction as the pattern itself, and basically it just didn't keep you gripped to the floor as well as I would have liked. So the one type of surface that it did excel on was a rough outdoor surface. Smooth outdoor surfaces, it played the same exact way as an indoor surface. So if I was going to make a recommendation, it would be that I would personally prefer to use these outdoors on a rough surface. As far as cushion goes, basically it's heel and forefoot Zoom Air. It's kind of a weird setup though, because the heel unit is really small. It's about that big and it's literally a circle. It's one of the strangest heel units I've ever seen. And then the forefoot is just a normal, with Zoom unit. However, you don't really feel them, much like most of the current kind of like Zoom based models, other than the 360 Zooms, like the Hyper Disruptors, and there's another one, I can't remember what it was, but basically the Zoom was just kind of like, you know what I mean? It didn't like give me that kind of Zoom Air feeling. One thing though is that the foam on these is a little bit more comfortable than the Zoom itself, which was a plus. As far as its actual responsiveness, it's lacking the bounce, but because you're not sinking into the shoe, your response time is going to be quicker, and all that kind of good stuff. So, it's got its kind of pluses and minuses. One tip though is that I actually learned this from Jay Jones over at Kick Genius. He recommended to go play in your shoes outdoors for a little bit just to kind of get them broken in because of the heat and everything. I tried that with these guys and it worked beautifully. They were way more comfortable outside than they ever were inside. So that is something that I thought was pretty interesting, and I can actually confirm that that was the truth. So shout out to you, Jay Jones over at Kick Genius. As far as the material goes, basically you have a synthetic leather upper. This is synthetic for two reasons. One, it's a little bit cheaper, and two, it's a shroud, so it's got to be stretchy. The other colorways are going to come with a nylon upper. If I were to pick one to play in, it would be the nylon one, just because those ones are going to be a little bit more breathable than this guy here. I'll get into that in the ventilation. But this guy right here, the materials I thought were perfectly fine. They're a little bit different than the originals. Originals had some Durabuck right here, whereas these have a split grain leather. And it is what it is. It didn't do anything bad performance wise, so I can't really complain about it. Just it is what it is. And inside the shoe you have synthetic overlays, which are your lacing system, and then you have basically it's a unibody upper on the interior, and it's a mesh upper, which is kind of strange. So most of your support's actually coming from that material, which is kind of cool. And especially for back in 1998, it was a really cool concept that they did with this shroud, and I thought that the materials were cool. I have no complaints. Again, it is what it is. I would have preferred to have played in something with the more spandex upper, just based off of breathability alone. As far as their fit, they fit true to size, and it was one of the best fits ever. This is something that's pretty consistent with most sneakers that have a shroud, is that the fit in those shoes are usually incredible, and this one's no different. As far as the zipper thing goes, I did not have it break on me, but the thing is that I didn't zip it up all the way. I zipped it up to right about here, and I didn't attach the strap or anything like that. That way, when I was moving, that's basically the end of where it was moving. I think that if you were to zip these up all the way, and then it would crease right there and it would pop and bind, and that's basically where the zipper would break. So a little tip to anybody else, don't zip them up all the way if you want your zipper to stay intact, and it still gives you the same exact fit and enclosure as it would if it were all the way up. As far as the lockdown goes, the lockdown was perfect from heel to forefoot, and I really enjoyed the fit. I have no complaint, except for one, and that was with a hot spot, and it's right where these stitch patterns are right here, and they just kind of dug into my feet. It dug into the tops of my toes, and it was a little bit uncomfortable. It would not be noticeable in the beginning of games, but by the end of the night, like when your feet are wet and all that stuff, it was just kind of like rubbing it raw. This is attached to the inside boot kind of mesh thing, or the interior of the shoe, and you can feel it. So that was my only drawback to the entire fit in my personal experience. Well, as far as ventilation, you can pretty much guess it. There really wasn't any. You know, it is mesh on the inside, which is cool, and all that kind of stuff, but again, like I was saying earlier, with this kind of like synthetic shroud up top, there's like just no breathability whatsoever, and these are basically like playing with ovens on your feet. And when I played outside, that was like the wettest my feet have ever been. Yeah, like my socks were drenched, my feet like you know when you take a bath too long and your hands, like this is when you're a kid, I don't do that now, but like when your hands are all pruny and stuff, that's how my feet were, but they were also like white, so they were just super saturated with sweat. So again, I would personally prefer to play with the spandexed shroud upper versus these guys here next time around. The support basically comes from the entire fit. That whole shroud and overlay and the lacing system and all that stuff works great. Support is A1 in my opinion. Nice wide stable base, all that stuff. No need for really an outrigger or anything like that. Like you're not going to roll unless you step on someone's foot. So, and then the interior, you have this monkey paw. Now this is something that Nike used to use quite a bit back in the day. They used it in Shocks and I think some like Jason Kidd, some Pippins even. They used to have these shoes where they would have a shrouded shell and then you put another shoe inside of it so you could change like the skin or whatever. I can't remember what those were called, but Pippin and Kidd and a couple other people had them. But anyway, so like this guy here, though, the monkey paw actually worked, and not only is it supportive because of its, you know, basically made out of plastic, but it's also bendable. It's flexible, so it's giving you support. It's kind of caging your foot into the heel there, but it's also allowing it to move, which is great. Overall, these basically have taken over the Reebok question as far as my personal favorite shoe to play in. As you guys already know, when I picked these up, I had mentioned that they are a grail of mine, and I love playing in shoes like that, like nostalgic shoes. And I just thought that these were really fun, especially outdoors, minus the whole ventilation thing. So I thought that they were great on a personal level. From a performance standpoint, there are definitely better performers out there. If you want to see detailed you know, scores and things like that, they obviously have been coming up throughout this review, but you can also just see a comparison chart or the scorecard on my site, kicksoncourt.com. I'll put the link to the actual review in the description box below, so all you got to do is click on that and I'll bring you straight over to the post. You won't have to like fish around or anything and try to search for it. So but yeah, I thought that these were really awesome to play in. I thought that they were fun. Are there better performers, lighter performers, more well ventilated performers with better traction? Of course, but it's all about what you're comfortable with, and for me this is something that I was actually comfortable with, so I really enjoyed playing in these. I do recommend them as well, so if you play outdoors, when these release later on this year, I believe maybe in the October kind of fall time frame, if you can find a pair with the spandex upper, I think that those would be killer on court, especially for outdoor hoopers. That's pretty much it. Thank you guys for watching. Thanks for all your support. Hope you guys enjoyed, and until next time guys, have a good one.